Okay, so in saying that, so let me ask then, what is pro-black? What does it mean to be pro-black? Because we just had this whole discussion on what that is, and I want to know what y'all think it is. What does that mean?
Like I said, when I fill out that application, not only do I mark African American / black, but I circle black. To me, that's pro-black. I rock with black specific culture from fucking Malcolm X to Bootsy Collins to goddamn Frederick Douglass. And I can't name more than 5 African super names. I know black culture. I know American culture. And I know the difference between the two. And I'm proud to be a black American.
I got you.
Me, I just I'm for the advancement of I'm not for violence against other black men at all whatsoever. That's like the furthest thing from my mind at any point in time. Violence at all, I'm really not for violence, period. But as far as with another black man, I'm trying my hardest to de-escalate that situation before it reaches.
Royce, we just talked about
point,
that.
So
ain't that interesting?
So yeah, that's
talked about that. But yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at with it. As far as like, I'm willing to help, more willing to extend the hand to black people. As far as like whenever it comes to me being or helpful outside of myself, I almost exclusively relate to black people. That's my part of being pro-black. Like if I'm doing anything for something, it's going to be for a black person.
I get you. I got it. I like that. Danny?
Pros and cons, right?
I mean, it can, just like what does being pro-black mean to you? What is that?
I'm not about to be on the con side. Even you get that. So I'm definitely pro-black, bro. I don't know the way society's going today. That's why I stay in my own lane and I try not to like. It's hard to even elaborate on like black people because there's black people in my family. We could just talk about, just alone. I love what a random person to do to you, black person. So we try to forget about all that and try to have hope, right?
Yeah.
Faith.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely for.
Okay.
That's what it means to me. Hope.
Okay. Royce, what you think?
All right, so I think it's like a misconception when we say pro-black, because it's like when you say pro-black, people expect you to be like about nothing but black people.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really enjoy the fruits of other races. If you go around saying pro-black, people automatically assume that you don't care about Japanese culture, care about Pacific Islander culture, care about, European culture, anything like that. So when I say pro-black, it's like anytime I have an opportunity to explore or gain knowledge on my race, I'll do that. But I'm not going to exclude other people's, input. If somebody wants to try or, try to say, hey man, I brought this Asian dish from my mother's home or whatever, like I'm all for that. Or like, hey man, like we dressing up and fucking samurai attire for fucking Halloween or whatever the fuck it is. We're going to the bar, we're gonna be dressed like that. Like I'm not gonna be against that. I'm gonna take time to learn about everybody's fucking shit. Because if you don't know everybody's shit, what I'm saying, it's hard to understand where you truly fit in. Because they only told you so much about your own race. You gotta kind of piece in everybody else's shit into yourself to fully understand what black people came from, where the struggle came from. I'm not gonna, knock somebody else's shit. I'm not gonna not buy from the beauty supply store because it's owned by Taiwan and you know what I mean, fucking Chang, you know. I'm not gonna stop eating Chinese food because of that. And I feel like a lot of people I talk to, when they say pro-black, they only want to support black business, only black business. Like, no, if you have an opportunity to support black business and it's a quality business, then best believe go do that. But don't let that be, you know what I mean, like, you know, your governor or whatever.
100%.
You know what I mean? Don't let that cancel the things you want to do. That's how I feel. So it's not like I'm against advancing black people. I'm all for that shit. But it's usually like closer to my circle. So if my homeboy starting a business, I'm helping that nigga out.
Yeah, for sure.
If you know, if my homeboy a rapper and he need to get streamed, I'm downloading his album. Might not even listen to this shit, but I'm downloading his album just so he gets those numbers. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, am I going out of my way, searching deep in the internet or traveling around the whole city trying to find the blackest store I can find? No, I'm not doing it. Mm-hmm. If somebody puts me on to something, I'm with it. But I'm not gonna knock the stuff around me and travel 3 hours out of the way to get a do-rag when I can just go down the street and get a do-rag. I don't need a do-rag, I'm bald motherfucker. But you know what I mean? I'm not
Touche.
Just because it's owned by my people. Like I fuck with him. If I repost my homeboy shit. If he trying to sell some shit, I'll buy shirts off the man. Or if he got clothing on, I do all that stuff. But am I going out my way, searching on Amazon, looking for black-only products? Like, I'm not about to do it. Unless, you know, like I said, let's say, hey, you know, rock with this joint. It's really good. And I do.
I get you. I think one of the things that you said that I want to address is when you said that you take the time to learn about other people's cultures. And we talked about this in the first John, but where we take the time to learn about other people's cultures, we have to, you know what I mean? Because other people's cultures, if we don't know about them and specifically the reason why we learn about other people's cultures is to see how they view us. If we don't do that, then that could bring harm to us. You know,
that's a detriment to us.
Like, so you have to know. No, yeah, but what I'm saying, I agree with that, and that's what I'm saying. Is like, so, but it's not the other way around. Like, we as black people, we have to learn about other people's cultures, and we make it a point to, just because we want to know, like, we in terms of the world, we are the newest culture, we are the freshest, which is why our culture has expanded worldwide as much as it has. Like, the reason why you can hear hip hop in Australia and things like that is because our culture has only really been curated from the past 400 years, like y'all was saying about slavery. But in terms of what we need to know about culture versus what other people need to know about culture, other people don't need to know as much about our culture unless they want to dabble in our culture. If they don't want to dabble, then they don't have to. They can stay.
It's not even relevant,
and they don't have to. Nothing will come of them not taking the time to peek into our culture to see what our culture thinks about them. We can think what we want to about white people, for instance. We can think what we want to about white people. It doesn't directly harm them. You know what I mean? But white people's perception of black people harms us, and it does it every day. You know what I mean? And so, like, unless we get to a point of where we're on that type of level to where our culture is so prevalent and so strong in the recourse of the entire society that we don't have to worry about that. That's one thing that we do have to worry about is other people's cultures, and that just shows a privilege for them and not for us. It shows a check of oppression on our end. You know what I mean? You guys said something else. Geez, I forgot what else you said, but you had said something else. I forgot what it is. That's why I need to be writing shit down. But babe, what do you think? Hello?
Yeah.
Babe, what do you think?
About being pro.
What define pro-black or whatever?
I think pro is absolutely exclusive. I think that you can be supportive of other things outside of what you're pro for, but still be exclusive to your preferences. So to me, being pro is your entire essence. So it's not just about being black, looking black, and, you know, wearing some chains, you know, not being that stereotypical idea of what looking black is. You have to produce that in your presence. So you can, you know, be white and not be pro-black because you're not black. For me, I think that being pro-black is everything that you seek to obtain in your intra-racially. So I am going to go and look for the black business. I am going to go and look for things to support within my own community. That's just me. I grew up, I'm a Christian. I grew up around a gay church. Go figure, there's a gay church. So instead of going to a gay church just because it was the closest to me and they preach the Bible, they just preach it from their perspective. I went and found a church that supported my views. So I'm going to go above and beyond for my people because we don't get that. We don't get that from other people. You see Asian people sticking together. I worked at a beauty supply store. He did not let anyone but Koreans be his vendors. He didn't let black men who had just as much clout to sell him wigs and all this stuff. He didn't allow them the business. He allowed, and this is why they're thriving, because they allow each other to be pro. That doesn't mean you can't, you know, go out and I'll use the Christianity. I'll use Christianity as an example again. Just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean I don't love people that aren't Christian. You know, people might be agnostic, atheist, gay. It doesn't matter. If you're a good person, I fuck with you. But that doesn't mean I subscribe to your viewpoints. In the same way, I'm not going to go outside of blackness just because it's convenient. So yeah, I'm going to go look for everything that I can do to support mine. And, you know, I think that a lot of people make the mistake of saying they're pro-black just because they support one or two things here, but then they will, you know, perhaps say they don't prefer black spouses or black, and that's fine. Do you? No one should take shots at you for doing that, but I think there's a difference between supporting it and being pro. You don't see pro-lifers having abortions. You just don't. You know, you don't see people that are pro anything is to support and produce that, procreate. You know, those things mean that you exponentially increase that which is. And for me, being pro means that you subscribe to it entirely. And that's just.
When you say entirely, do you mean exclusively?
I do think to an extent you kind of have to be exclusive to fit the definition of pro. I mean, I'm not.
Isn't that impossible?
No, how is it impossible?
I don't know. What phone do you have?
I have an iPhone. When I worked at Verizon, I was pro Samsung. You never caught me with a iPhone. I hated a MacBook. I hated an iPad. Every person I sold to, Dad was the first person I sold an iPad to. Never sold because I hated it. I got people on my bandwagon for Samsung. That's how hard I went. Or
my point is, neither of those are black companies.
Doesn't matter. I'm talking about that as an example. You asked me what kind of phone I have. Samsung is from Korea. So either way, I'm not getting. There's no black people that make phones right now. Once they do, cool. I'm looking for black banks. Killer Mike just opened an online black bank. Once he gets it popping, gets out all the viruses and things that can come with going online banking, trust and believe, I will do that. I said myself, if there was a black bank down the street like there is in LA or there is in Atlanta, we'd be banking black. That's where I'm at with it. We don't get that type of support. So I'm going to do it. There's a few of us out there. I'm going to be one of them.
So there's a company called Freddie Figures, owner of largest black telecom provider. Would you drop AT&T or Verizon or whatever you have to go to Freddie Figures?
If they were sustainable, if they were proven to not have the type of security backing, you know what I mean? Like working for
What
Verizon.
if you don't get those luxuries because they're an up and coming company and you want to support them solely because they're black, but the quality's not there?
I would still support them. I might have my Verizon on the side, and then once they take off, I'm dismissing Verizon. You know, like obviously I didn't say it's completely exclusionary. You still got to do what meets your life needs at the moment, but still, I'm still going to support it. I'm still going to make it my number one mission to go in that direction if I can. We don't have no black Targets. We don't have no black Walmart. So obviously I'm going to go to Target. Black people are on the up and up Target. They're coming up in Target. They're promoting black business at Target. I buy black products from Target. So that's my way of supporting black businesses through a non-black organization such as Target. I don't shop at Walmart. They're known for being racist, you know, so that's my way of doing it that way. But I make it a point wherever I can to, you know, go that route. It's not going to be completely impossible. I'm not delusional, but where I can, I will. And I think that a lot of us we should strive for that, because like I said, if you know anything about slavery and the Willie Lynch syndrome, that's the entirety of what they try to do to us, is to get us to avoid each other at all costs. Go light skin against dark skin, go, you know, infighting, all of that stuff. So I'm trying to unite in ways that I see fit. If my dollar, which has trillions of dollars, trillion in power in this country, can go towards a black business, that's where it's going. This country makes money off our dollars. So because it holds that much weight, I'm going to reroute it when I can.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree with that 100%.
I agree.
I think that I think that that's important that you spoke about, like the businesses and things like that. And Blake, you asked her that question because a lot of the things that we need in society to be a completely autonomous black society, we don't have, because people aren't striving to be that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the infrastructure is not there for us to support it.
Not even the infrastructure. Hold on, babe, real quick. Not even the infrastructure, just the thought processes to create the infrastructure. Not people. Black people are, and I'm not gonna say. Basically, what black people do is we all kind of want to be the same thing. Nobody ever really wants to step outside and do something different. Like I think I gave the hairdressing example in the last episode, where like all three girls do hair, and so they all want to do hair. None of them actually wants to be the distributor of the hair, and none of them wants to be like the booking agent to get the girl the client so that she can do the hair. That's three different jobs, and that's creating a chain of industry in that profession so that they don't have to compete with each other. They can work with each other. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of black people and our mind state and our mindset is not to do that. We are, and one thing that both Babe and Roy said is talked about black quality. A lot of the reason we don't have black quality is because we don't support it. Where are they getting the support from? You know what I mean?
I think when you say mindset, it's because it's a lack of knowledge, man. I agree with the whole rapper syndrome, right? But I think that's because all they see or exposed to is, as far as success goes, the rapper. You can only do what you think is possible, and you only think what's possible is the shit that you see that already exists. Now, as far as when you initially said that, I think once you start to see other shit and you become more, you know, adverse into what the world has to offer, you don't have that rapper syndrome. I mean, my destiny is in the field of coffee. I don't know no black people who fucking rock with goddamn coffee like that. To me, that seems like a very, you know, white thing, if you will, but everyone needs to find that niche. And right now, all we see is what's in that immediate black culture. Now, to your point of the hair thing.
Hold on real quick. Let me ask you a question based on that. So what got you into coffee?
My long term is to own a franchise of bars and restaurants. And that's just because I love bars and restaurants. So, this is just a stepping stone into getting that way.
What made you go that way is the question. What influenced you to be like, instead of doing the black thing that there is to do, what made you go a different way?
I saw a lucrative business opportunity. I saw that coffee and ethanol are highly addictive, and if I can't legally sell you crack cocaine, I'll sell you something that is legal and addictive. And as far as where I spend my time, it's normally at a bar or a restaurant. So if my money's already going there and there's a lack of black owners and I'm a black man and my money goes there, I might as well replicate the same thing. And a lot of my insight came from books from Asian or white people. My favorite book all time is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But my runner-up is the autobiography of Malcolm X. And my third is goddamn Mein Kampf, just to understand where they're coming from. like all knowledge, and I don't think anybody should be boxed in. I think it sucks that we have that rapper syndrome where everybody wants to be a rapper or do hair.
Yeah, I definitely think that it does too, and I think that we don't support each other enough, and two, we don't know. I think that we don't know enough to broaden our horizons. I think that's one part of it because, like, you know, I came from the projects. Dan came from the projects. You know what I mean? Like, there are various people who lived not privileged existences who saw that there was a way to do something different and then decided to do so. You know what I mean? Like, Royce is from Chicago, like one of the worst places for young black men to try and get out of, and he made it out. Like, who was to say that he was going to be the NCOIC of a shop? You know what I mean? And like, I think that knowledge that we try and get is largely kept from us, one, and then two, the media sensationalizes the things that are very rare to attain. It is very hard to become a rapper, even though it looked like it's super easy. They're not taking the rappers with substance. Like, Rhapsody won a BET award, but if you listen to her, she's not just BET material. You know what I mean? She's far beyond that, but they don't even market her that way because she's speaking truth to power to people like us who want to hear that type of stuff and want to garner something different from the very rappers that they're trying to give to us, like a Lil Pump or you know, like, and not saying that like some of his beats ain't fire, because they are, but like his message is ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, and so like I think that
his beats ain't
in the instance that we see that that's all they're giving us, that's when people like us have to go into these communities or even just speak to the people around us and tell us that there's something different out there for us. You just got to go find it. You know what I mean? And be willing to usher the people towards that. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times we'll have the information and we keep it. Why? There's no.
I don't know, and we don't work together in that facet. There's what?
But where did that come from?
I don't know. It sucks because you think that we have all this unity and we're pro-black, but if this was 6 fucking Punjabi fuckers, they would all put $5,000 together and start a gas station. We're not gonna do that.
No, we're not.
That's because in my opinion, that's because of the fact of the bullshit that happened after slavery. I mean, it was strategically it was a plan put in place to separate us and all this shit. So
correct.
That's the reason why
I agree with that. Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. Like, they taught us to distrust ourselves, and so even if you catch something that might be similar in terms of quality to what you're used to, so like the black mom and pop shop on the corner, they're not Target. They have similar stuff to Target, but they're not Target. You will tell yourself that because they're not Target and they don't have everything that you need every time that you need it, you're not going to go there. Instead of going there, splitting your time between this place that you can support, even if you're supporting it a little bit just to help get it off the ground, and then going to Target for everything else. And we don't teach ourselves, and we don't even talk to ourselves enough to tell ourselves and the people around us that that's what we need to do. As far as being pro-black, I think that that's what it is. Like, not just, I think that it goes beyond support. Like Cece was saying, I think that it's pro everything. Like, we, you know, like Royce, I understand that you're in Germany, so it might be hard to find like a black business and things like that. And you got to do what you got to do. You're not going to, you know, not buy something just because it doesn't come from a black business and you know, suffer through like the shipping process and all this other stuff. I get that, and I agree with that. I don't think that you should, but in the event that you have the resources and the opportunity to find yourself a black-owned whatever it is that you want, instead of just getting up and going to the Target or something, just do a local search in the area. If you find something that's black, go and check it out. If you like it, buy it. If you don't, then, you know, like, don't, and continue going where you're going. But I think that research is necessary, and the reason why a lot of the black businesses and black business owners and things like that don't make it out of the starting phase is because we think like that as a whole. You know what I mean? Like even in this pandemic, what was it? 90% of black businesses who open their doors are going to close their doors and not open again. What is that? You know what I mean? Like how is that the case when we're specifically talking about like supporting black people, but the black dollar hasn't went anywhere. We're still pumping that into the economy. You know what I mean? And I think there has to be a concerted effort from us to get to a place where before we do anything, we look and see that what we're doing is supporting us. Because the same way that we're not supporting somebody else, y'all could have just easily not decided to jump on this phone. Then what? You know what I mean? Like I would have been asked out and I would have been asking, whoever, people that I don't know, but it's support. And it starts small. It don't matter if it was just me and Dan on the call or me and Dave on the call. We talk about this type of stuff all the time. You know what I mean? And we got our podcast. We could have just did that, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be able to reach different people from different parts of life in different moments in life with different perspectives in a way to try and get us to understand that 1, we can trust each other, 2, we can care for each other, 3, we can support each other and have these conversations, even if these conversations are not always hook, line, and sinker. We all agree. You know what I mean? So that's what I think about it. AJ, you just hopped in here, bro. Hold on.
Excuse me.
Get AJ to say something. AJ,
Hey, what's happening, man?
Not a whole lot, bro.
I'm
We
loving
were
it
just
all.
talking about defining pro-black, and I want to know what define pro-black for AJ. What does that mean?
For me, man, like I hear everybody kind of talking on the economical level, right? But I think it's much more than just the economics. Economics is important. Don't get me wrong. My degrees are within economics, so I absolutely think it's important. But more so, I think it's even bigger to bring the ideology within everybody's mind that we're going to support and we're going to uplift the Black community. And where you were talking about, because a lot of the things you're talking about is kind of like small business stuff, right? Us supporting the small businesses so that they can grow and they can expand and reach more of our community, which is awesome and important. But it's also other levels of infrastructure we kind of talked about earlier, right? The facts that we don't have Black banks, really. There's very, enough to count on your hand, as far as Black banks. And even further, which is crazy, that I feel like every community should have a credit union.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, a community bank, to where we are putting in and we are kind of directing what those banks' investment in the community is going to be, who's going to be the people that's going to be leading those credit unions, things like that. At the end of the day, if you're, a member of Wells Fargo, Citibank, whatever it is, you're just a customer at the end of the day. Versus if you were in a credit union, you are actually, a shareholder. You are a part of that entity. Right. And I think those are the things we need to be doing when we think pro-Black. Don't just think pro-Black as in, all right, man, I'm buying all the Black-owned socks. You know what I'm saying? I'm buying all the Black-owned jerseys. Don't get me wrong, that's awesome and that's cool that you're doing that. But at the end of the day, to me, pro-Black is also us pushing our kids to be a part of STEM businesses or STEM career fields, right? Pushing pro-Black within the legal system, all these different things that negatively affect us within our communities because we don't have any representation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That a lot of the times, like you're talking about earlier, right? So within the last couple of years, Black-owned businesses have grown like 70 something %, right? Over the last couple of years. We've been killing it. It's been phenomenal. Absolutely. But then something like the pandemic comes, and then more than 50% of those businesses now are failing, right? And a big part of that is because they don't have the infrastructure to withstand adjusting to the new environment, right? Because we don't have banks, we have to go to other banks and ask for some money so that we can make our business more virtual, so that we can, get loans and expand our business and make it more safer and adding, protective equipment so that we can keep sustaining our businesses, right? Well, if you're a Black-owned business and you don't own assets, which many Blacks don't, your business is within a community identified as the ghetto, you know what I'm saying? If you're not financially literate and you don't have great credit, now you're putting yourself in a position where these banks are like, no, we're not going to give you a loan. And now you're struggling to adapt to, the new pandemic climate. So I think those are, to me, that is part of that being pro-Black. You don't even really got to touch the economics to be pro-Black. You could be pro-Black and pushing education. And, and then you guys were talking about earlier how you get that trend where everybody starts doing the same thing, right? You're either gonna be a rapper, an athlete, with the females, you might be a lash tech, or you only do hair. But I don't think that's always just the fact that they're trying to steal from each other, right? Sometimes I feel like, oh, that worked. Let me do that. Yeah. That worked. Exactly what it is. A lot of times Blacks don't go out and do their own businesses or, go outside of their comfort zone because there's a fear, which is legitimate, that they might fail. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? A Black person failing, bringing in an income versus a white person bringing in income, man, it could be really significant. It could be drastic to the point where, they struggle and now they are forced to, take illegal routes of bringing in income, So I think that's a fear that's in a lot of Blacks of trying something that has never been seen to be successful.
Yeah.
I feel like that's my piece on, being pro-Black. I feel like economics is important, but I feel it's all around doing the things that are a necessity of building up the Black community.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
I think there was a lot of discouragement. I'm sorry, but I think there was a lot of discouragement